great evening, everyone. So, I'm addicted to the dopamine release that I get from all the pleasures that I have in my life. Watching YouTube, driving fast, the pleasures that we get, smoking a joint. Actually, I don't think maybe cannabis does release dopamine, but I'm convinced that cannabis actually helps regulate your serotonin. Maybe certain cannabis is a dopamine release, but the pleasures. I'm a former crack cocaine and fentanyl addict. This year, I'll have 3 years clean this summer. I've replaced my addiction. I weaned off of it naturally, and I used kratom, and I still use kratom in the morning every now and then. Not every day, but I still use kratom in the morning. But I've replaced my dopamine addiction with alcohol now. So it's like, that's what we do. We supplement and we replace because we're addicted to a dopamine release, what they call pleasure. Because in this world, they sell happiness as pleasure. Most people who want to be happy, they're addicted to the pleasures in their life. And that's the dopamine release. It's a left and right side brain. It's a chemical response that happens from two separate parts of the brain. And when you become dependent on dopamine, especially with drugs, it's very hard to regain control of your serotonin. I think it's left is dopamine and right is serotonin. I might be wrong. It's been a long time since I've looked at it. It's 2019. I've listened to lectures but I've been talking about this since 2019 when they first taught me it, and I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. I was like, if we can convince people, not even convince them, just teach people that, hey, you will never be happy trying to consume something that's going to give you pleasure, because the whole media industry is built on pleasure. The hot girls in the bikinis drinking the beers on the beach, the fast cars with the supermodels in the passenger seats, like that's how they sell pleasure. And don't even get me started on the very extreme pleasures, but what they confuse you with as happiness and pleasure is always a dopamine addiction. Coffee, sugar, cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, cell phones, video screens. It's all dopamine. Happiness, serotonin, comes from the sun. You get natural serotonin from the sun. Like, that's actually the most serotonin you can get. Music, good music that actually feeds your soul, that is built in truth, that is, especially retransposed back to 432 and the good frequencies. That's serotonin. Good food, real food, not synthetic artificial diet, but like real food, especially when you eat it with family and you have good conversation. Any good conversation releases serotonin. That's why they say when two or more are gathered. I believe it. And then sun, music, good food, grounding, good conversation, real food. There's probably a lot more, but breathing exercises, exercising. When you exercise, you actually release serotonin and not dopamine. That's the best way to heal the body with the dopamine versus serotonin release situation. If we can learn how to become happy with the serotonin that we have, that's why children that don't know about all the stupid things, that don't eat sugar, that don't, you know what I mean, and they just, like Amish, I bet you the Amish probably have the highest serotonin in the world. Like, Amish people are probably naturally happy, picking their crops and planting their seeds. But we have television and high fructose corn syrup and all kinds of other things that we're dependent on that we think makes us happy, but it's just giving us that pleasure. So yeah, we need to focus on the difference between dopamine and serotonin, the difference between pleasure and happiness. Because if we can regulate these things, and it could start through the media could help us, teaching us what real happiness is, a family meal, listening to a good song, getting sunlight, being grounded on the earth, listening to retransposed music, eating a natural diet. What was the last one? I forgot it already. But yeah, there's many of them. You just watch the whole video, rewind it, put it in 2 times speed so you can hear exactly what you want to hear. Or you could slow it down and hear it better. But basically, we need to learn the difference between pleasure and happiness and dopamine and serotonin. Have a wonderful day.